Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So it's been a long time since I've made a video around the area of grief and loss. You can check out some of those videos that I've made over the years on this channel. There's one that is talking about grieving when you've lost a sibling. I think I've made another video where I've just talked about grieving as a result of a breakup, and also probably dating again after a loss as well. So I'm just going to talk about the 4 quick tips really that are helpful if you are grieving, because a lot of people, when they've had a loss, especially if it wasn't expected, but also if it's either just an experience that they've not been through before as well, they can be struggling with what to do. And the first thing I want to say is that everyone grieves in a different way. And the second thing is there isn't a solution or an answer to say, right, this is how you deal with a bereavement, or this is how you deal with loss or grief, because we all operate differently. So there is no one way that's going to work. So the first thing is to give yourself time and space. Many people, either they'll go for one extreme or the other. So you've either got someone who will have a bereavement, then they'll push through it, suppress it, continue just going and going, and then 10 years later or 5 years later, all of a sudden it hits them, and then they will say, you know, I need some counselling, or I'm really struck by like this death that happened 5 years ago, and that's because at the time they probably didn't, you know, really process it. Or you've got people who don't give themselves any time at all. You know, they'll literally have a bereavement and on the same day they'll say they want to go for counselling, or they'll have a bereavement and on the same day they're trying to go back to work, or a week later they are. And there's nothing wrong with any decision that you make as a person, but if you say to yourself, as a functioning human being and as someone that's going to be gentle on myself, and I've gone through a loss of someone close to me especially, or just a loss that has impacted on me, giving yourself time is not a bad idea, because it means that it gives yourself time to think about, right now, what is it that I need? But also, right now, I'm in shock because and the amount of people that have called in to say, like the helpline that I work on, but also that even have probably contacted me and said, I've just had a bereavement yesterday, or I've lost my, someone close to me, it was only a week ago. They might still be in shock, but also it's this thing of there's nothing wrong with giving yourself time and space. And it's not for me to say to someone either, you need to give yourself 6 weeks, or you need to give yourself time. That's not how I work as a person. But what I sometimes just encourage people to do is to think about whether you need more time to even think about what it is you need next. Do you need a bit of space to process what's just happened? It's only happened yesterday or a week ago. And then it's up to them. They might say, no, I don't need that space. The second thing is you don't have to do anything. Sometimes people, because of how they function, feel they have to do. They always have to do. And what that means is when something happens that's outside of their control, they then still continue with that like mindset that I have to do something, right? Someone has just died, I have to do this, I have to go to work, I have to make sure I do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. And the problem is you are putting your brain under a massive amount of stress. When you are grieving, or when you've had the biggest shock that you probably can get in life, it's in the top 3 things, where someone close to you has died. You don't have to do anything. Your brain is already overloaded with the shock of the news, that being in denial, because it's like, I can't believe this person's gone, missing the person, wondering how you're going to live without the person. So on top of that, by you adding things to the list of, right, I need to make sure I do this, I need to go and do counselling, I need to go and back to work, I need to do this, I need to do this, it's not helping you. So one of the things to just think about is, which is the next one, it's okay to be okay with the pain of the loss that you're feeling. It's okay to be sad. It's natural to feel sad. As I've said, I don't like to tell people how they should feel, what they should do. That's not even me as a person, but also as a counsellor, as a coach, maybe differently. However, the amount of people, I'm doing a series at the moment, which I'm going to be doing around emotions, the amount of people that are not comfortable with sadness, or not comfortable with pain, when sadness and pain are a part of life, that is the first step, is to say to yourself, how can you say that you've just lost a really important person in your life, you're never going to see them again, but you don't want to be sad? Or your mum's just died, but you shouldn't be feeling upset. It doesn't actually make any natural sense or logical sense or even emotional sense to say that. If you've just had a loss, then of course you're going to be in pain. Of course you're going to be sad. It's natural to feel that way. So it's about not giving yourself reasons to be like uncompassionate, I don't even think that's a word, with yourself. Give yourself some compassion by saying, of course I'm going to feel sad. I've just lost this person close to me. Of course it's going to be painful for the next few weeks, months. I'm okay with like knowing that's going to happen. So I've had bereavements and I've not even tried to question or talk myself into doing things or say to myself, you've got to not be sad, or I've felt the emotions. And that's what sometimes, I'm not saying you have to do this, but if you're processing grief is one of the most, you can't work it out. So the more you try to work out, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why is this affecting my body? Why is this affecting my brain? Your brain cannot process the fact that you're never going to see that person again. So understanding that it's going to be the most enormous pain you're ever going to feel, and then just saying to yourself, the final thing is having faith in yourself that it's going to be okay one day. It's not going to be okay straight away. It's not going to be okay probably for months. You know, when I was grieving, I knew that I was going to be okay one day, but I couldn't picture it because I thought, this is how I'm feeling right now. The pain of it makes you feel that you're never going to feel okay again, but you have to have faith in yourself and say, do you know what? I will feel okay. It might not be right now, it might not be next week, it might not be next month, but I will feel okay. So the key thing really is stop trying to maneuver and navigate through grief as though it's another type of emotion or another type of event, because it's not. There's a lot of things that are similar, but there's probably no pain like the loss of a person that you love, or no pain like grief, because there's nothing you can do to resolve it. It's final. That's probably the reason why it's the biggest pain, because you can't do anything. You can't bring that person back. So when you're experiencing it, just experience it. Experience all the sadness, the pain. You know, whether you need to do that in counselling, whether you need to scream, whether you need to go to a mountain and just cry, or a mountain and scream, or sit in your car, or whether you need to isolate yourself from people, whether you need to put all your energy into doing the funeral arrangements, whatever it is, but just be easy on yourself. Stop trying to like say to yourself, I shouldn't be. The amount of times I hear, I shouldn't be feeling like this. I should be over it by now. I need to do this. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. And it's so hard to not work with, but help that person to see that how harshly you're talking to yourself. But then you also don't want to like say to make that person feel worse. But it really is just, it's natural that you're going to be feeling pain when there's a loss. That's what I'm really trying to say. So hopefully this video will be useful for someone. Thank you for watching, everyone, and take care of each other.